The Shield, feed me more? Okay, what's up guys? Welcome back to Review Space, and time to review last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, December 3rd, 2012. Okay, well, let's begin. CM Punk cutting a promo in ring, and I honestly thought this was one of his weaker promos. I thought it was a little bit kind of dry. People wonder why ratings have fallen down, and maybe this is because CM Punk he's just not that compelling, you know. I mean, for the most part, I think he's good in terms of maintaining a certain rhythm, a certain cadence to his promo. He's good in that aspect, but as far as saying, you know, the scripted lines that he has to say, or the bullet points and the certain things he has to address, it's just not interesting. I know he tried to address it in this promo. You know, he was attacking his detractors and the people that may be criticizing him and blaming him. You know, it was almost WWE's way of, hey, you know, the ratings have fallen, but like, don't blame CM Punk. You know, you always want to blame Punk. You always want to blame Punk, but it's not really his fault. And to a certain degree, he's right, because the writing isn't really that amazing. But the fact of the matter is, ratings have fallen down. And anyway, he was bragging about his title reign and again putting himself over the legends, name-dropping guys like Rock and Stone Cold and Undertaker. You know, maybe this is why people... It's almost like a WrestleMania hype where, you know, who is he going to face next year? You know, is he going to face these guys? You know, one of these guys, Austin, Rock, Undertaker. You know, it's almost like, let's keep it in suspense. You know, let's keep name-dropping and see which one of these guys he might face in the future. Yeah, but I mean, he's the longest reigning champion in the past 25 years, quarter of a century, which is a pretty big deal. So he definitely has some bragging rights, in my opinion. But The Miz interrupted the segment, and I was actually kind of excited. You know, I kind of marked out a little bit because The Miz, his music is epic. I gotta be honest, man. It's just that I came to play. I mean, it's awesome. Pun intended, definitely. Now, The Miz can cut a promo too. He is a good mic worker. But I think, much like Punk, he fell a little bit short. Now, he wasn't as disappointing as Punk, but I think that Miz just didn't have a lot of good things. He didn't have a lot of good lines in this one. I mean, he's got the enthusiasm. He's got the delivery. I like his kind of over-exaggerated style. I actually do like it. Some people don't, but I'm a fan of that because at least it shows some level of, you know, it's kind of he's got personality, but it's just when he got to the lie detector and he proceeded to challenge CM Punk to take a lie detector test on Miz TV, and I think that just killed the segment for me. It just ruined it because it just dropped the energy. You know, I thought it was going to be like he was going to say something amazing, and then he goes on to talk about some lie detector test. And I'm just like, ugh, it's going to be some boring segment. It's going to be lame. And I just, ugh. Anyway, so we get to the first match. Team Hell No beating Primetime Players. Actually, the Shield was very present in this match. You know, their presence was felt, rather. They were via ringside, walking their way through the crowd. And then afterwards, I believe they attacked Team Hell No. They jumped them again. If I'm not mistaken, like they gave Daniel Bryan the powerbomb maneuver. So anyway, we got AJ Lee going up against Tamina Snuka, and you know, AJ's over. She really is. She's relatively popular with the crowd. There was AJ chants in the frickin' arena, and that was pretty interesting to see because not a lot of divas get cheered nowadays. And Tamina, man, you know, looked like she was about to win. She was going to go for the finish. But AJ sneaks in a roll-up and gets the pinfall, gets the win. John Cena and Sheamus in a tag match against Ziggler and Big Show. No, before this match, they had a little promo backstage. Sheamus doing his babyface thing, and he was getting all psyched up. And I thought it was actually kind of good. You know, it felt like, you know, he's got a new shirt on, and it seemed like Sheamus is developing into a hero, you know, type of character, getting pushed as a top star, but a babyface star, you know, as opposed to like the heel powerhouse he used to be. Almost like a second version of John Cena, maybe. But maybe just a better overall kind of more credible wrestler. You know, maybe he's got more, it feels like he's got more of a polished feel to his character. In-ring work, his look, his mic skills. It seems like he's not as annoying as John Cena. Anyway, yeah, they defeat Ziggler and Big Show. I believe Cena pinned Dolph Ziggler after an attitude adjustment. So there goes Ziggler. I don't know what the deal with Ziggler is. I don't know. They keep putting John Cena over him, and it's kind of a shame because, we wish Ziggler to start rising up the ranks and start climbing the ranks and getting some wins here and there. But I mean, it's a good thing that he's associated with Cena to begin with. The problem too is that they have a match at TLC, and unfortunately, because of Vince McMahon basically making Vicky Guerrero arrange this match, the way they're gonna book this, I don't know, man. It's gonna be Dolph Ziggler against Cena, and he's gonna put up his Money in the Bank briefcase in this match. So it's gonna be on the line, so Cena can win it, and Cena can defeat Dolph Ziggler, and then Ziggler has no title cash-in, which it's still a possibility. I think Ziggler's gonna retain for some reason. I just think that, because Cena's been beating him now, and maybe Ziggler's just going to get that one win, that one big win, that underdog win. Let's not forget that he actually, at Survivor Series, he did a pretty good showing. I mean, I believe he won the Survivor Series. So, okay, we have Damien Sandow against Santino Marella. Damien Sandow was great. He cut a great promo, great little segment with members of the audience. You know, I mean, he was looking for an apprentice or something, and he was asking them questions, trivial facts, and he got to a question about a poet, I think, and the guy couldn't answer it, and he was like, "No, you're wrong," and I like that whole thing. He's great on the mic. I like his style, I like his gimmick. It's awesome. He's a great character. You know, he's a throwback. He is a definition of like that classic gimmick, that traditional heel, arrogant, and he's got a vocabulary that really matches his gimmick really well. He's in the ring, he's polished. Can't really say enough positive things about Damien Sandow, and he defeated Santino Marella. I thought Santino was actually gonna kind of trade back and forth with him. He was gonna do the seashore thing. Yeah, I wasn't too excited with Santino though, but it could have been a comedic segment. Could have been really funny, but I just thought Sandow would just, just put Sandow over Santino. Get it over with. Alright, Alberto Del Rio against Sin Cara. This one, we've seen this a million times already, and I think the only reason they put these two up against each other is because Cara is familiar with Alberto Del Rio in ring. You know, they've worked together like in Mexico and stuff like that. Even though they have a bit of a history, I believe Conan in an interview was talking about how Cara like pulled a gun on Alberto Del Rio in real life. Like they actually had beef with each other backstage. I'm sure it's all settled now. You know, they're working for WWE. They got to be professional. So I don't know what their personal relationship is. Like, are they friends? Are they just cool, neutral with each other? You know, it's probably like a Booker T Batista relationship. You know, where they had a fight, but then they, treated each other professionally afterwards. You know, it's like no hard feelings really. Randy Orton going up against Brad Maddox, who made his return. Oh man, Brad Maddox. I don't know what the deal with this guy is. He's got a supposed YouTube show or something. I've never seen it. Don't care. And apparently, if Brad Maddox wins, he gets a WWE contract. But of course, Randy gets the win. He hits a RKO, and that's it. Brad Maddox is done, finished. I don't know what's going to happen with this guy. I don't know if he's going to be a star, because he looks like, kind of like what the Miz would wear. He kind of looks like that Miz character. That sort of, there's a polished look about him. I keep saying polished in this review. He's got a certain look. He's got a certain he's groomed. They groomed him to look like a star. This guy looks like he could be a part of the roster. As far as in-ring, I mean, he's probably not that great. I'm not really that impressed. Probably okay at best, but, you know, he doesn't seem to have too much charisma. You know, he seems like, he's kind of just like a slimy character, you know? There's something kind of iffy about him. I don't know, man. I don't know what the deal is with this character. He feels weird. He's a very random guy. He's not part of the main roster. I don't know where is this guy from? You know, what's this guy about? I don't know anything about him. He's just kind of this random face. I don't get it. Not face as in baby face, just to clear, just a random, like, individual, random wrestler. Anyway, the Shield attacking Randy Orton afterwards. And now we actually saw a connection between Brad Maddox and the Shield. So could there be, like, the two are linked? And was the Shield just defending Brad Maddox? Were they attacking Orton just because of some sort of weird hierarchy in the WWE and they're really against that? I mean, it's kind of just very vague and ambiguous right now. But I don't know, man. This was just a weird segment to me. We got a United States title match, fatal four-way actually. Antonio Cesaro defending against three other guys: Kofi Kingston, the IC champ, Wade Barrett, and of course R-Truth. At first I thought Cesaro was gonna lose. I mean, I was like, there is no way he's gonna retain now. But then I started to think, like, man, you know what? This guy could probably... I mean, they might want to protect this guy. Maybe WWE likes this guy, because the past few weeks they've been treating him, and the fact that he's the United States champion to begin with in such a really quick time, they've really protected Cesaro. They've treated him with a good push. They paired him up with Oksana. Of course, they killed that, but they've always made him look like a kind of a star. They've protected his character. They haven't made him look really ridiculously stupid or silly or dumb or anything like that. They haven't buried him. They've done a pretty decent job of protecting his character, his gimmick, you know. And I think the main criticism now is just that maybe he's just not connecting with the audience as much as a top heel should, you know, somebody who can really get over really well. But he's got the in-ring skills. He is a good worker. His ROH stuff was fantastic. Tag teaming with you know, Chris Hero and everything. I mean, that was great. This guy, I like Cesaro. You know, he's one of my favorites right now. Just as far as a character, just a wrestler, to be a real wrestler. You know, I mean, I know it's kind of pretentious to say that, but he is one of these traveled, experienced wrestlers who can go inside the ring. Actually had a pretty dang good match, you know. I mean, it was really not fast-paced, but I mean, it was a good match. It was a lot of different spots, and it flowed really well. I liked it. You know, I thought this match was actually really good. Looks like Kofi almost won the United States title, but of course, Cesaro ended up retaining. He hits the finisher on Kofi, the neutralizer, which, you know, the neutralizer name, man, they could probably give him a better name for that. I think the neutralizer just sounds so, well, neutral. You know, it doesn't sound that great. It doesn't sound exciting. It doesn't sound flashy. I do recall, I believe he hit Kofi with that uppercut, that European uppercut, and that was really sick, to the outside. That was awesome. So Cesaro retains the United States Championship. Awesome, great. I agree with this particular result. I like it. Okay, here we go. CM Punk finally taking the lie detector test. You know, I thought this was going to be a disastrous segment, and I was actually a little bit surprised. It was better than I thought. It was better than expected. I mean, I think that Miz and Punk, they did a better job than their earlier segment of, you know, cutting a promo and just having an interaction. I like the whole Miz, you know, making a comeback. Like, I think CM Punk said something like, "Oh, Miz sucks," and the Miz was like, "No, but your mom does." Oh, and I thought that was just hilarious. And so then we get to the actual questions, and then Miz asks him, you know, "Hey, are you working with Brad Maddox and the Shield? I mean, let's get an answer here." CM Punk, before he can answer, the Miz gets jumped by the Shield attacking the Miz, beating him down and everything. Of course, the crowd was really chanting, you know, "Ryback, feed me more, feed me more, feed me more." Props to the crowd. You know, give props to the crowd, man. They were into Ryback. They wanted him. He never showed up until the end. And, of course, eventually, Ryback shows up. And he attacks, you know, the Shield, proceeds to attack him. Of course, Team Hell No, they also come out, so now it's like a 3-on-3. They all fight it outside of the ring, into the crowd, and, you know, I guess out of the arena. CM Punk kicks Miz out of his ring, and there it is. That was the end of it. It looks like there's going to be a CM Punk versus Miz feud, which looks interesting. I mean, I'm definitely interested in that. I mean, the Miz isn't the best in-ring, but I'm sure that CM Punk can carry him, and they could, you know, potentially have even better promos in the future, and just better, like, back and forth segments. So overall, this episode was really, it's kind of 50-50, you know. I like some of it, and some of it I just didn't care for. If anything, I mean, even the Shield stuff, which I was really excited for last week, wasn't that great this time. You know, it felt like there was maybe too much of the Shield, and a little bit almost overexposed, because if this is all they're going to do, they're just going to beat up people randomly, then it sort of takes away from the meaning behind it. You know, why are they doing this? Well, it's for justice, but if you're just beating up random people, then it doesn't really make any sense, and it starts to lose its specialness, the fact that they would go after certain guys. Now they're just kind of going after whoever they want to. So that's it for this episode of Review Space. Until next time, ciao.